Cause Before Symptom with your host, James Carner.
Tonight on Cause Before Symptom, Nesara and Gesara. Is it just a rumor or is it real? I'll let you know. Stick around. Welcome to Cause Before Symptom. I'm your host, James Carner. Tonight is September 27th, 2024. Literally a month and a half, almost 2 months away from the election. The election which, I don't know about you guys, but I have not been paying attention at all to any of the advertisements, the rhetoric. I haven't talk to anybody about the election, except, well, for the case of one person who I really care about a lot, but I gave them my opinion and they weren't too happy about it. However, it's getting close, and all of the things that we were promised that were supposed to happen. You know, when Trump got into office, he made a speech saying, we're going to give it all back to the people. Well, that didn't happen. In fact, we were $1 trillion above our GDP in debt. And right after that schnauzer left, Biden put us $35 trillion, which was like, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35. That's $7 trillion over the GDP. And they continue to raise the debt ceiling, right? So, promises kept my ass. I just don't buy it. I'm not gonna. Yeah, sure, for 4 years, gas was a little bit low. All of you guys ended up saving probably about $100 a month. That's good. But groceries, they went up. That ain't good. And Trump just said, well, it's not me, it's Congress, they're fighting me. You've got executive order power. You can literally screw anybody you want. You can. And they can't do anything about it. Executive order power is kingship. It is. Now, the next president can take out the executive orders. But in the meantime, Trump could have came in and put the hammer down and cleaned out the swamp, but he did not. And if you saw the people that he surrounded himself with, it were all of the bad guys. Vanguard, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase. All of them. And we're expected to trust the plan. Well, the plan isn't working, in my opinion. And tonight we're going to be talking about Nesara Gesara. I did a deep dive today. I even read 2 books, actually 3. 3 books for you to prove once and for all if Nesara is real or if it's a rumor. So let's get into it. And so what is Nesara Gesara? So Nesara stands for National Economic Security and Reformation Act. And Gesara just changed the national to global. Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, which there's no such thing as Gesara. Just saying. Are 2 interconnected conspiracy theories that have gained significant traction over the years. In fact, I bought into its interesting idea. These theories often involve promises of debt forgiveness, increased income, and a new, more just world order. Now, you know me, I'm going to even research the enemies' websites because a lot of the time our enemies will post the truth. They will. They will post the truth. So I went to the Anti-Defamation League, okay, ADL. They're the Jews, right? The ones that control everything. They do. The Khazarian Jews. Yeah, I know some say, well, you're not saying they're the real Jews. You're just using Khazar to say they're not the Zionists. No, they're the Zionists. They're from Prussia. They're actually from all of the latest dynasties from Mesopotamia to Egypt to all the way back to the land of Cain. In fact, history has shown that they have been running things for at least 5,000 years. I say ever since Adam and Eve decided, fuck that. You know, that's what they did. So according to the Anti-Defamation League, Nesara Gesara refers to a conspiracy theory promoted by Shaini, spelled Shaini. I'm just going to assume it's Shaini, a weird spelling of Shaini. Shaini Goodwin, also known as the Dove of Oneness. I'm feeling New Age vibes right now. New Age vibes. That all debts will be wiped out in a radical reset of the U.S. economy. It is a reference to the National Economic Security and Recovery Act, or NESARA, a set of U.S. economic reforms proposed in the 1990s. It was proposed in the 1990s, okay? Which included abolishing compound interest on loans. I think that would be nice. Replacing income tax with a national sales tax and returning U.S. currency to the gold standard. I think that would be nice too, wouldn't it, everyone? I think so. It won't stop corruption, though. While the proposals were never actually introduced before Congress, they weren't. Conspiracy theorists like Goodwin claim that they were secretly passed by Congress and then suppressed by George W. Bush Sr. in the wake of the 9/11 attacks. So that's the rumor. Okay, that's how it started. But there's more to it. The rumor even goes back to the Supreme Court and other things, but I'll get into that later. Nesara Gesara. The origin. Now, the exact origins of Nesara are difficult to trace. Well, that was for Gemini AI, but I was live waiting for me to continue talking about, I guess, a touchy subject because my whole system just went down. I had to reboot everything. Whew! So that happened. Holy cow. That's a first. That is a first. Where they can... Obviously, they must have hacked into my computer. So we're still recording. We're getting... we're pissing off some people. And it's still... My computer's just... having an issue. It's not me, folks. It was running just fine before this. Believe me. Believe me. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue. All right. So that was crazy. And I'm trying to pull up my notes and it's taken forever. All right. So I am having serious issues with my memory. No joke. It is just nasty. And it's not me. I'm telling you, it's not me. I have no other programs on other than this program that I use called OBS to broadcast, and I put in Rumble's keys, the live streaming keys, to play what I'm trying to say. And of course, there is a delay, but anyway, what happened is out of my control. So I'm going to start over, and let's see if they shut me down again. I just can't believe it. So let's just start over. Nesara Gesara. Okay? The National Economic Security and Reformation Act and the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act are two interconnected conspiracy theories that have gained significant traction in the recent years. These theories often involve promises of debt forgiveness, increased income, and a new, more just world order. Right. According to the Anti-Defamation League, Nesara Gesara refers to a conspiracy theory promoted by Shaini Goodwin, spelled Shaini, also known as the Dove of Oneness, which I said it's feeling awfully new agey here, that all debts will be wiped out and a radical reset of the U.S. economy. It is a reference to the National Economic Security Recovery Act, or Nesara, a set of economic reforms proposed in the 90s, which included abolishing compound interest on loans, replacing income tax with a national sales tax, and returning U.S. currency to the gold standard. While the proposals were never actually introduced before Congress, they weren't. Conspiracy theorists like Goodwin claimed that they were actually secretly passed by Congress, forced by the military, and then suppressed by George W. Bush in the wake of the 9/11 attacks. Supposedly. Now, let's get into this. Let's see if it's true or not. I've got enough evidence where I think I can give you guys a really good explanation on this. Okay, so the exact origins of Nesara, according to artificial intelligence, is difficult to trace, but I traced it, okay? And the story seemed to emerge in the late 90s or early 2000s. Some proponents claim that the act was passed by Congress but was subsequently suppressed by the government or Federal Reserve. However, there is no evidence to support these claims. There's no evidence. Now, Gesara is a later development that seems to have emerged as an extension of Nesara, proposing similar reforms on a global scale. This is what got all of those other influencers popular, because they all said that they had an inside source that were telling them about this or that, and it turns out most of them are all child predators, which I'm pretty sure that the government framed them because they were child predators, framed them and made them go out and put this crap out there. The key claims of Nesara and Gesara are debt forgiveness. Both theories claim that all personal, corporate, and national debts will be forgiven. There will be increased income, promised significantly for all citizens. New financial system, something like the quantum financial system, will be put into place that will be free from control of the banks and corporations. They say this is going to switch to tokenized stuff, but I've already told you, tokenization is centralization. Okay. Social reforms. The theories often include claims of social reforms such as the elimination of the income tax, the establishment of a new education system, and the creation of a world peace organization. Now, the reason why these theories persist and they continue going on and on and on and on and on and on and on can be attributed to many factors. One, Shaini Goodwin. Two, the Supreme Court ruling in 1983. The appeal of debt relief, a desire for a better world, and conspiracy theory culture. So Shaini Goodwin, the Dove of Oneness, she was later identified as Candace Goodwin, or Shaini Candace Goodwin. She was a former student of Ramtha's School of Enlightenment. New Age. Goodwin claimed that the Nesara bill languished in Congress before finally being passed by a secret session in March of 2000 and signed by Bill Clinton. Well, I haven't seen it. The Supreme Court ruling also in 1983 for the Farmers Union, okay? But apparently, according to many, that ruling in 1983 for the farmers and to create a Nesara, which is just a proposal given to Congress, well, it was gagged. And the appeal to debt relief, they promise debt forgiveness, and that resonates with many people who are struggling financially. So yeah, they're going to believe in this crap. Yeah, Medved's right. It's bullshit. I'm not going to give you guys anything. You're peasants. And it looks like I'm locked again. Oh my God. Well, it says I'm on, but I see I'm locked on Rumble, so I'm going to reboot Rumble, see what happens. Holy crap. This is funny. I love it when I have problems. Honestly. It's good to have problems. Okay? It's good to have problems like this because it's just proof to me that this kind of stuff, when I debunk this stuff, I'm onto something. I'm onto something. And, of course, the conspiracy theory culture Nesara and Gesara fit into a broader culture of conspiracy theories, which often involve secret plots and hidden agendas, which we know that they have. They've always had hidden and secret agendas. We know who they are. They're the Jesuits. Even Kanye West told a whole party who someone was filming him, said that the Jesuits are at the top, the bloodlines. Criticisms and disinformation on Nesara Gesara, it is important to note that there is no credible evidence to support the claims made by Nesara and Gesara proponents. There isn't. These theories, and I'll tell you all the evidence that we have on it, okay? And I don't think the evidence is going to make you happy. These theories have been widely debunked by experts and fact checkers. Many of the claims made in support of Nesara and Gesara are based on misinformation, disinformation, and conspiracy theories. Some proponents have been known to spread false information about government officials, financial institutions, and other organizations. In fact, didn't we get some sort of a nudge from General Flynn about Nesara? We totally did. It was complete bullshit. So, yeah, if you guys can't see it, you're just going to have to reboot Rumble. It says I'm live and I'm streaming right now. So, now, the exact origins and the evolution of it, again, it came around the year 2000. And remember what also came around the year 2000 was in 1999, Russell-J. Gould took the Title IV flag from the Pentagon and took control of the post office in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., and then proceeded to go to the United Nations to see what kind of land they can get for this new country. And the United Nations said, hey, there is no more land to give. So what do you want? And they came up with a really good idea. They wanted control of the land underneath all of the court systems worldwide. Now, it was a great idea. It just didn't work out. And I personally spoke to Russell-J. Gould. I've had 2 interviews with him. How? I have no clue. But he told me that Nesara and Gesara is bullshit. It's not going to happen. And it's a lie. Same with the quantum financial system. But I'll keep going. The key claims and promises of it are debt forgiveness, personal, corporate, national debt will be forgiven, increased income, new financial system with the quantum theory, which Russell-J. Gould told me that's not his quantum financial system. His quantum financial system is completely different. It's based on the theory of now and not anything in the future or in the past. And, of course, the social reforms. Now, debunking this claim. While the claims made by Nesara Gesara proponents may seem attractive, they are entirely unfounded. There is no credible evidence to support these theories. One, there's lack of official documentation. I've looked for it. I haven't seen anything like that. There's nothing or any claims to the contrary, so it has to be false. The contradictions and inconsistencies with it, the claims made by Nesara Gesara proponents often contradict each other and are inconsistent with establishing economic and legal principles, especially when it was never passed by Congress. And, of course, it's absent of reliable sources. The information on Nesara and Gesara is primarily spread through online forums, social media, and self-published books, which I'll read in a sec. There are no reputable news outlets, except for one, or academic journals that endorse these theories. I will read an actual publication of a real news agency who published information on this, but it's not what you think. The sources of the misinformation that spread this crap attributes to conspiracy theory culture Many of the conspiracy theorists out there jump the gun, rush to conclusions, hit forward, and don't think before they put it out. They assume that the information they're getting from what they're putting their trust in, like Phil Godlewski and people like that, everything that they say does not come true. And they've also have been found out that they're child predators. And all of the social media and online forums, some people just forward it just for a kick and a laugh, and some people actually believe it. The internet has provided a platform for rapid dissemination and misinformation, including Nesara Gesara. And it does include lack of critical thinking, and I agree. Many people are not equipped to evaluate the credibility of information that they encounter online and may be susceptible to believing these false claims. Nesara Gesara are unfounded conspiracy theories that have no basis in reality. I really believe it. Any claims made in support of these theories are false and misleading, and I'll prove it. It is important to be critical of such claims and to not rely on any sources of information when they bring it up. I've told you guys that they were saying that Nesara is past now, and the quantum financial system people are giving away quantum laptops for people to enter their bio code and then get $10 million to start a freedom thing. I don't know. But that's been going on, and that's been going through the circles, and people have been sitting there waiting for an email from the government saying, we need you to meet us at the bank in 10 minutes or you'll lose your window. That's insane. That is insane. The two rumors that really spread this information is one. Bill Clinton was apparently forced by the military to sign Nesara after the Supreme Court created it due to a lawsuit against the government and banks. And two, the lawsuit of the Farmers Union that went to the Supreme Court in the 1980s is their backup to say that this is real. Now, according to the community behind Trump and the white hats, they say Nesara indeed exists. However, the information on the web that most people are able to see is not the actual document of the act. This is what they believe. I'm going to read to you what we want to believe, but it's not real. The real Nesara documents, according to conspiracy theorists, have been blocked by the swamp. The real document stops the IRS immediately and creates a new type of revenue for the government. Basically, it's a sales tax on new items only. It also forgives all bank-related debt and establishes a new bank system, and the Federal Reserve will be abolished and absorbed. New currency backed by precious metals will be distributed. Constitutional law will be restored, and mass resignations of those in office will be demanded, and new elections will be forthcoming. That's what they believe. Have you guys seen on TikTok where some dude is saying that all of Congress last week got arrested? It's bullshit. The only reason why they put up fences in Washington, D.C. after Biden won is because they're afraid of their own people. The left hired a bunch of thugs to go out and start a ruckus. And they didn't trust their own thugs that they hired. That's why they put the chains up. It had nothing to do with protecting them from people on the right. And protecting them from their own groups that they created. They believe President Trump has quietly slipped the United States into Nesara. They believe it. However, if you go to the Clinton Library and you request any records that have to do with the name Nesara or Gesara, none of it exists. They say, I saw someone 2 years ago requested information on Nesara that Clinton signed, and they said there's nothing there. It doesn't exist. They said you have to request a FOIA request, which is a Freedom of Information Act request, in order to get something, but we don't have it. And they say, come back later and maybe we'll have it if it's already been, put through, but it's not here. The American founding envisioned a political order in harmony with the design of the laws of nature and the natures of God, seeing the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as embodied in and sanctioned by natural law and its traditions by signing Executive Order on November 2nd, 2021. That is an executive order that Trump signed, and they say that this proves that Nesara is coming in. But it doesn't really say that. They say when you understand Nesara and the way it was planned to be implemented, you will understand why President Clinton did not enact it as it was written in 1993. If he had, he would have to resign and allow a new election. No president wanted to do that, and neither did members of Congress and the Senate. So you now understand why this is hidden from the public view and what this person who wrote this believes to be a trump card. And Trump will use it during the right time. And this will apparently drain the swamp. They really think this. But if Trump was going to drain the swamp, it's been how many years since he's been in office and out of office? Almost 8 years. He hasn't done shit. Meanwhile, our economy is so bad. There's more homeless now than there ever have been. Most of the people that are listening to this show are just barely making it. They really think that if we understood the untimely death and murder of Justice Scalia and the real reason Schumer and Pelosi and company desire to pack the Supreme Court is because they're afraid of Trump and his majority of the Supreme Court will fire all of them. They don't care. Pelosi is still getting drunk and having a blast. She hasn't been taken out of office. She's too old and too drunk. We all have seen her. She's drunk all the time. They call them winos. Now, this website that I was at that was telling me all about Nesara Gesara and how it's real, they said to read more about the U.S. Supreme Court Justice's proceedings, please read the history section at www.nesara.us. Well, I went to the website. It's dead. Well, if it was so important, why not keep it up? How much is it for hosting? $6 a month? How much is it for a domain? $25 a year? If it was so important, why is this website dead? It supposedly restores the United States back to full constitutional law, which the American founding fathers envisioned, a political order in harmony for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, actually, I believe originally it was in the pursuit of land, but they changed it to happiness. And the resignations, have you seen anybody resign other than 9 or 10 every year? That's pretty much it. Not a huge majority where it goes absolutely insane. Because why bother? They're in control. There's no need. And then Nesara was supposedly required the president to designate and declare peace, enabling international banking improvements to proceed smoothly and end U.S. aggression military all across the world. Well, we don't see that at all in Ukraine. We're sending billions over there. We're sending billions over to Israel. That's not ending aggression, sending money over there and sending it back to our people, meaning our defense contractors. According to conspiracy theorists, in 1993, the U.S. Supreme Court finally announced their rulings on the Farmers Union case. Because so many shocking revelations about government and banking fraud had been presented and proven by the Farmers Union, the U.S. Supreme Court justices back in the 80s knew the details of their decisions, and they could not make it public, as it was going to take time to develop and implement reformations to correct the flagrant government and banking frauds perpetrated for years on America, going way back to 1933. The U.S. Supreme Court justices put the entire case under strict gag order and began working on correcting the injustices. Has it worked? Has it worked? No. It's still corrupt. Remember, the justices continued leaking crap politically on purpose to steer public opinion. Nothing has changed because there is no gag order, there is no Nesara, there is no Gesara, and I'll prove it. They say that many bank presidents and senior stockbrokers have been privately confirmed to close personal friends that they have been briefed about the U.S. Treasury banking system and the coming Nesara. Well, bring it forward. You see, I did some research, and I could only find this letter to the editor in the opinion section of one news agency called the Tahoe Daily Tribune. And this was in 2002. And you're not going to believe who wrote it. This is on the links below. You can find it. It says, letter to the editor. In 1993, the U.S. Supreme Court almost unanimously ruled in favor of Farmers Union claims that American banks were fraudulently foreclosing on farms with collusion of the government, and that the income tax amendment was never properly ratified. An extremely strict gag order was placed on everyone directly involved, court cases records sealed, and docket number case detailed revised until after the court's Reformation rulings are accomplished. To implement reformations, 5 justices spent years negotiating accords with the U.S. government and other parties. Because the accords process did not work, the justices authorized the reformations to be put into the form of law named the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, Nesara, which was passed secretly in March of 2000. Secrecy was maintained by revising official records and strict gag orders. News of Nesara came out of U.S. Naval Intelligence in June of 2000. Nesara requires 1, an end of income taxes, 2, forgiveness of credit card and mortgage debt as a remedy for bank frauds, and 3, U.S. Treasury bank system and precious metals backed by the Treasury currency, and 4, restoration of constitutional law, and more. Bank presidents and stockbrokers know about the U.S. Treasury bank system. Nesara was to be announced at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on September 11, 2001. The attacks occurred on 9/11 to stop Nesara's announcement. We need Nesara. Americans can send postcards supporting Nesara to U.S. Supreme Court, 1 First Street, Washington, D.C. 20543. That was on October 14th. October. Just so happens when the veil is open. The justices removed many gag orders. It's time to demand our Nesara's benefits. Signed, Franklin Collins of South Lake Tahoe. This is the only evidence we have that Nesara exists. I did my homework. I worked all day on this. I read 3 books. The only evidence we have is this website. A news agency who posted it in the opinion section on letters to the editor. I tried to find this Franklin Collins to no avail. There was just one Franklin Collins who died in Tennessee, but he didn't live in Lake Tahoe. Interesting, his last name is Collins, who are the actual illuminated family that controls the United States. I believe this was a plant to get the people to research and believe in this story and sit around and wait for Nesara. According to theorists, in June of 2000, news of the secret Nesara law passage came from U.S. naval intelligence contacts who are some of the white knights assisting the justices in activities involving Nesara. Some special interest groups have tried to stop the announcement and implementation of Nesara law, which provides major financial improvements for Americans. They say what we're about to witness is historic. It appears we're about to see a healing of the nations, for there is also a Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. But I'm telling you, there's no data at all. There's no data at all supporting Gesara. Nothing. They continue because they believe, they say, in short, human rights are now misunderstood by many, manipulated by some, rejected by the world's worst violators, and subject to ominous new threats. That was from Mike Pompeo. They're quoting Mike Pompeo. Remember that asshole? He screwed us. And then they quote Mike Pompeo and his new unalienable rights, and his commission report says it lays it all out for us. And odd that it's to be done in the inaction of Nesara. Well, he didn't lay it out for us. And I could only find this because I had to go search on Yandex through Russia. And I found a couple more stuff on Yandex, some other websites, supposed news websites, and my links are all below. You can check my information. You can double check my sources. When I typed Nesara in Russian Yandex, which is Google in Russia, the Gaze Teller, which is a supposed news agency, wrote this: breaking Nesara's September 11th, 2024 announcement stopped by elite sabotage. Military operations now in full swing to take down the cabal. Well, nothing happened. It's September 27th. I didn't see Nesara happen. Oh, there we go, moving the goalpost again. Come on, guys. And their excuse, and let's be clear, Nesara's delay was not an accident, nor was it a matter of mere logistics. This was a calculated move by those desperate to cling on to their crumbling empires. And it's time we exposed the truth. What crumbling empires? BlackRock and Vanguard own most of the largest companies in the world. They're not crumbling. They're doing quite well. I stumbled onto a book called Nesara and the Mark of the Beast by Scott Young. I got it, and I read it. The book argues that the National Economic Security and Recovery Act, Nesara, a purported law with various provisions related to U.S. finances, is not part of the Mark of the Beast. It took a while to read that stupid thing, and couldn't even get that until the end. The system, according to the author, directly contradicts the system that will accompany the Mark of the Beast, which will involve a single global fiat currency and will be controlled by a single powerful leader who demands worship. Well, I think Nesara ain't going to happen, because if you give everybody all of the money back that they stole, then they're going to start building businesses and compete against BlackRock and Vanguard. They can't have that. They're not going to give it back. Additionally, the author argues about Nesara is all about freedom and debt forgiveness, while the cabal, a purported group of powerful elites, wanted totalitarianism and to keep the population controlled through debt. The author emphasizes the importance of understanding biblical prophecy and having faith in God's plan. Oh, I told you guys already. We're still 100 years off before Jesus returns. Even amidst uncertain and challenging times, the book encourages readers to be prepared for future events by studying the Bible, understanding the true nature of money, and being wary of deceptive teachings like Nesara, particularly those that conflate Nesara with the mark of the beast. The author used his own personal experiences with finances and his understanding of the Bible to support his arguments. It was a good book, but can't they just narrow it down to 5 paragraphs for me, please? Another book I found about Nesara, it's called Nesara, National Economic Security and Reformation Act by David E. Robinson. Links below. The source, Nesara, the National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act, proposes a comprehensive overhaul of the U.S. monetary and fiscal systems. It advocates for a new Treasury reserve system to replace the Federal Reserve, a shift from an income tax to a national sales and use tax, and the elimination of compound interest on secured loans. The act claims or aims to stabilize the economy, reduce public and private debt, increase productivity, and improve the standard of living for all Americans. It outlines specific definitions for key terms and details the proposed changes in banking regulations, tax structure, and government spending. The book also emphasizes the importance of restoring financial privacy and revitalizing inner cities while promoting a more equitable distribution of the wealth. And in the book, it was basically just comparing what's going on in America right now and then what Nesara can do and how it would be different. What else is going on in America, and then with Nesara, how it would be different and how it can help the lives of Americans by paying off their loans, their home loan in 10 years instead of 30, and paying off their car loan in 4 years instead of 10. And the guy believes in it, but he has no proof that it exists. Appendix C in the book repeatedly refers to Nesara as proposed legislation. Appendix A in the book states that Nesara offers an engineered solution to the problem of national debt, implying that it is a proposed solution, not an existing law. Meaning the author of this book couldn't even find any proof that Nesara is on the books. Therefore, the provided source does not claim that Nesara is actual law. The book aims to educate readers about a proposed bill called Nesara and advocates for its adoption. David E. Robinson also wrote another book called Nesara II, National Economic Security and Reformation Act. And this document describes the book a conspiracy theory. And the first book was way better. The second one, he goes into aliens. So he kind of kind of hooked you in with the bait for the first one, and then it's aliens. This book describes a conspiracy theory about a secret act called Nesara, or the National Economic Security Reformation Act. The theory claims that act would eliminate debt, abolish the IRS, usher in a new era of peace and prosperity, which we won't get during the time of Jacob's trouble. It attributes the failure to enact Nesara to a powerful cabal of international bankers who control the world through manipulation, fraud, and violence. The book also explores the theory of a global debt forgiveness movement that would reset the world's financial system and involve contact with extraterrestrial beings. It combines elements of financial conspiracy, political intrigue, and New Age beliefs. So he kind of went off the deep end. Notice how everything, just kind of gets back to New Age and yoga and Kundalini and opening up your body to allow demons in, and not about finding God inside you. The provided text in the book describes Nesara as a conspiracy theory. It portrays a narrative involving a global elite, or referring to the cabal. They attempt to maintain control over the world's finances and population through manipulation, fraud, and violence. Conversely, a group aligned with the White Dragon Society and supported by benevolent extraterrestrials fights to expose the cabal and implement Nesara. This act promises global prosperity through debt forgiveness. Yeah. the release of suppressed technologies, and a shift to a fairer financial system. So, yeah. They say Nesara is going to be our salvation, the book says. I'm serious. And he's presenting it as a pre-existing act suppressed by the cabal that promises to dismantle their control from the draconians and usher in a new era of peace and prosperity. Its implementation is said to involve global debt forgiveness, the release of advanced technologies, including free energy and anti-gravity, and a return to constitutional law. Everything we've been hearing from Ted Gabluski, or whatever his name is. Everything we've been hearing from, what's that English guy? I can't remember his name. All of the top 10 influencers who are sponsoring Nesara Gesara and QFS, Quantum Financial System, and XRP, and it's all horseshit. And they think that extraterrestrial intervention is coming. He says in his book that benevolent extraterrestrials are aware of and invested in humanity's struggle, saying they're portrayed as working with the White Dragon Society in Japan to expose the cabal and guide humanity towards a positive future. The theory claims the existence of massive gold-backed accounts established by developing nations in the 60s. These accounts were allegedly hijacked by the cabal and used for their own purposes. Come on. They say that they suppressed technologies, Nesara is said to enable the release of over 6,000 patents for technologies for free energy and anti-gravity, healing devices, med beds, that were withheld from the public under the guise of national security. The White Dragon Society, described as a group opposing the cabal, they claim to work with high-ranking officials and military personnel who are fighting to expose the conspiracy theory and implement Nesara. I'll tell you who came up with the White Dragon Society. Benjamin Fulford. We'll get into him in a second. We'll talk about the White Dragons. The book also talks about the odious debts doctrine, a legal principle which states debts incurred by a regime without the consent of its people are not valid, is used to justify the mass debt forgiveness promised by Nesara. The event text refers to a coming event where the cabal's control will be broken and Nesara will be implemented, leading to a global awakening and a new age of peace and abundance. And he quotes, "The money changers have always sought to control the world. Today, we know it is a fractional reserve banking, highlighting the alleged mechanism of financial control. Quote, a new global banking system was approved by Congress on October 19, 2007 at midnight. The U.S. Treasury of the Republic went online with a new gold-backed banking system in 2007, describing a supposed event that was silenced by mainstream media. But he never provided any proof in the book. I didn't find any. If the intentions of a financial transaction is extortion, that loan or inducement should be struck off of the record immediately and completely, referencing the doctrine of odious debts. And finally, the last quote, we're going to see something, an ancient cabal that has controlled humanity through murder, propaganda, and bribery. It is going to come to an end, foreshadowing the eventual victory over the purported conspirators. Come on now. That's not what the Bible says. If we're in Jacob's trouble, it gets worse, not better. If you guys have been in the truther movement long enough, as I have, you would have heard of or know of or seen Benjamin Fulford. Benjamin is a renowned conspiracy theorist and ex-chief editor of Forbes magazine in Japan. Benjamin mentions the White Dragon Society a lot because he says he's under protection from them. And he says that the White Dragon Society in Japan are fighting the cabal from that little tiny island. In fact, his credibility is founded on the fact that he interviewed David Rockefeller. He did. I saw the interview. And this apparently gave him enough credibility in the truther movement for people to pay him every week to get his report on what's happening with the cabal. Benjamin talked about the white dragons and their supposed plan with China to take out the cabal. But like all of the truther movements, the goalpost continues to move and no one gets arrested. Sure, did he? Well, they arrest people to give the appearance that they're doing it, but they don't. Jeffrey Epstein, the log books of all the people that flew in his plane, that hasn't gotten released. Well, it got released in WikiLeaks, but publicly it won't get released because it'll expose most of the CEOs worldwide are all child predators. But they continue to move the goalpost. And you can't have a Gesara, a global Nesara, unless there is a Nesara. And the only proof it exists is a letter to an editor and eyewitness accounts that we have whom have already passed away. That's it. We don't even have proof there is a gag order and that the Supreme Court is sitting on this. Plus, it is not a law. Congress hasn't passed it. I haven't seen anything saying that Congress passed it in 2007 quietly in the middle of the night, right before Obama was put into presidency. How can this even be signed by Bill Clinton if Congress hasn't even seen it, looked at it, or even passed it? In order for this, and Clinton wasn't president in 2007. In order for this rumor to have any weight, we can't rely on a feather from a newspaper article in the opinion section by a family that controls the United States for the 13 illuminated bloodlines. Yes, A. Collins wrote that to the editor back in 2002, and they printed it. Dude, it would have given it a little bit more, would have had a little bit more juice in it if it wasn't a Collins. You had to put an Illuminati name. God, really? Guys, this world is controlled by the devil. It's his to control. Why would he give us a jubilee in the form of a wealth transfer? History shows governments take and never give back. Ever. Only another country takes over the other country and takes from them. They don't give it to the people. Ever. Why would the richest country in the world, America, give back all that it stole? And don't get me started on the quantum financial system. That is a load of crap. Remember, I spoke to Russell-J. Gould. He said QFS wasn't his idea. He came up with a quantum system for finance, but he didn't come up with QFS. And I dug into the paperwork. And I could only find one place where QFS was mentioned. And it was in some settlement from a man back in 2009 in Mexico for $10,000. You can find this stuff. You can go online and find detailed information on anything you want. You just have to know where to go. I believe the cabal is stealing people's crypto, using the QFS bullshit lie for fun. My TikTok account alone was used by scammers, hundreds of them, as they spoofed my pictures and videos, and they stole at least $100,000 from my subscribers that I'm aware of. They could have stolen more. I know this because I received calls and emails from people asking me where their money is. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, you had me sign up to your QFS system. I sent my crypto and I can't log into my system. And then I have to, unfortunately, say, that wasn't me. I only have one account. Well, back then it was at Carner James. Any other account, you're not talking to me. Oh, and they got pissed. They were mad at me. Well, I didn't do it. Guys, we are living in the time of Jacob's trouble. Nothing gets better. In fact, it's like labor pangs. It slowly gets worse. Think about it. When Trump was in office, it seemed to be better. But the moment Biden came in, they took it all back and then some. They took more. That's not getting better. And Trump didn't put up a fight at all. He did not put up a fight. And all we got was a letter that he said to Biden. He goes, you know I won. Trump isn't a savior. They give you hope as a sick joke to lower your vibration, to keep you in fear so the fallen angels can feed off of you because you're so angry. Like tonight, you guys are angry because I'm exposing Nesara and Gesara, that it's fraudulent, it's bullshit. It was created by the Illuminati to give you hope and to steal from you by people saying, well, I found this information, so Nesara must be true. And then they have other accounts that they hire teams of people in other countries to sign up under accounts that have influencer pictures and video, and they steal money because the people trust in influencers. It's sad, but it's just another trick. It's a trick. It's a lie. And your freedoms, they've never changed. We still owe more in taxes even with Trump in office. Meaning we were in debt $1 trillion over the GDP when Trump was in office. Now we're in debt $7 trillion over. Trump didn't do anything. He didn't balance the budget. All he did was bring on more of his financial buddies to manipulate China, to get China to pay more money in tariffs. That's it. And make it look like us are winning. That's all it was. China became the loser under Trump. And then they made up some fake thing that, oh yeah, Trump went to China and Rome and all of these other places and basically told them, we're taking you all down. He didn't do shit. And if you think that after Trump gets elected again, which he will because it's going to calm the right down so they don't rebel, right? Because right now the algorithm given the elite saying, you better get that president soon because the right is about to blow up. And they do the same thing with the left and the right. And if after 4 years, the right are they're not ready, they're not that mad, but they're mad, they just do another 4 years. That's it. And then they'll make something up if something is pissing the people off, and they'll put another one in and calm them down. And it's all a lie. They're not even working for you. And Trump giving his paycheck away, his government paycheck. Well, did you know he gets a tax write-off for that? For giving his salary away as being president, he actually gets a write-off for giving that. Oh my God. Come on, guys. The Patriot Act is still in effect. And it was still in effect under Trump. How long does a sting operation take? 8 fucking years? Bullshit. They're spying on you and getting away with it. Free. Actually, on your dime. You're paying for them to spy on you. And I hope, I made a pretty damn good clear case that above, that we pinned all of our hopes on planted evidence. The order, whatever you want to call them, the Satanists, the Luciferians, the Khazars, the Prussians, the Illuminati, the Bloodlines, whatever you want to call them. They've been planning this whole thing to give the appearance that there is resistance, so there won't be any. And that's it. They control the opposition. We are incapable of retaliation because we are drugged and mind controlled through Russian EMF technology, which I believe I proved my case a few episodes ago. And remember, all of my sources are below. You can see all my sources. And every episode I put on my website, jamescarner.com, go to my blog. All of my sources. So you can yell at me after you went through all the stuff that I went through. You remember Sir Winston Spencer Churchill? UK Prime Minister during World War II. I'm going to quote one of his quotes because I hate that bastard. He says, "History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it." Well, that's the Illuminati way.
We are exposing the hidden culprits behind your constant fatigue and brain fog. This is going to blow your mind. No, really. If you're always tired, chugging coffee, and missing out on life, it's because you're exhausted. Listen up. It's not just you. It could be your gut. Your brain fog and fatigue might actually be due to dormant good bacteria in your gut, and that makes it hard to flush parasites and heavy metals, the real villains here. Crazy, right? The Invisible Threat research team found that these toxins can mess up your energy and focus big time. We've got a free report that spills all the details. Or skip straight to Action with Elite Potions Detox Kit. Packed with non-GMO, organic ingredients, it kills parasites and binds to heavy metals. Listen to Robert from Las Vegas.
I just turned 50 and felt 20 again after using it. My heliopath approved it.
Modern diseases often trace back to these toxins, so why not give it a shot? Detox now and feel the difference. Order now and reclaim your energy.
If you're looking for a publication that delivers honest takes and critical insights into the issues of our day, then look no further than The Flame Paper. The Flame Paper is written for the people, by the people, who aren't afraid to challenge a mainstream narrative, be it healthcare, voter fraud, political correctness, or even the one world government. The Flame is full of timely articles, reports, and expert advice written by freedom-loving, truth-telling experts, journalists, and concerned citizens. To subscribe, go to theflameusa.com.
This has been Cause Before Symptom. I'm your host, James Carner. Thank you for listening to me and my BS. Guys, I can't prove it any other way. Nesara Gesara's bullshit, all right? So let's just get over it and move on. Don't forget to go to jamescarner.com and sign up to my newsletter. It's the only way I can get a hold of you. And 2, go to Elite Potion and save your life. I guarantee my product will stop a lot of modern diseases from coming. And if you could all just do me one big, easy, simple thing, love your neighbor. If you love your neighbor, this world would be a better place. We'll see you tomorrow night.